From the Rastafarian movement to blue lava, here are 10 most amazing things about Ethiopia. Before we start, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel. Number 10. Rastafari. Rastafari, also known as Emperor Haile Selassie, ruled Ethiopia from 1930 to 1974. He is to some considered a prophet, some even say he is the reincarnation of Jesus Christ, but he called himself the Lion of Judah. On his first trip to Jamaica, it is said that it was raining for the first time in 13 years. And when the plane landed, the sky cleared and a rainbow appeared. This event was seen as a confirmation to the beliefs of the Rastafarians that he was a heavenly figure. The Rastafarians also have common religious beliefs with the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, and the inheritance of the dreadlocks was from the Ethiopian hermits. Number 9. Coffee. In the 9th century Ethiopia there was a man called Kaldi, a humble goat herder. One day he saw his goats going crazy on the field, and thought that it was a sign from God. He even joined the dance for a while. After some time he started wondering what the real reason was. That's when he got the idea to examine the goat poop, and surprisingly, it worked. He found the beans of the coffee and understood that it was the reason for this intoxication. While going back home he couldn't stop but wonder how much faster and effectively his relatives would start working. But all we know is if Kaldi never existed we wouldn't have this obsession over coffee. Number 8. Ethiopian calendar. Traveling to Ethiopia is like taking a trip back in time. When you first set foot in the country, you can't help but notice that Ethiopia has a calendar that is 7 to 8 years behind the rest of the world. From the naming of the weekdays to that of the 13 months of the year, the Ethiopian calendar is greatly intertwined with biblical anecdotes. The first day of the week, for instance, called Ehud, translates as the first day. It is meant to show that Ehud is the first day on which God started creating the heavens and the earth. Owing to its complexity, Ethiopians call the method used to calculate the calendar Bahir Husab, or Sea of Thoughts. The calendar system starts with the idea that Adam and Eve lived in the Garden of Eden for 7 years before they were expelled for their sins. After they repented, the Bible says that God, or Igtsia Bahir in the local language, promised to save them after 5,500 years. The Ethiopian and Gregorian calendars both use the birth date of Jesus Christ as a starting point for their calculations. The difference between the two calendars is because alternate calculations are used in determining this date. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church believes Jesus Christ was born in 7 BC, 5,500 years after God's promise to Adam and Eve. Modern-day Ethiopia still embraces its ancient calendar. However, travelers hardly experience any inconveniences because of the calendar difference. Most Ethiopians are aware of the Gregorian calendar, and some even use both calendars interchangeably. As one of the few countries in the world with its own calendar system, Ethiopia celebrates important holidays on days that are different from the rest of the world. For instance, Ethiopia rings in the new year on September 11th, and not on January 1st. The calendar offers foreign travelers the perfect excuse to hold two different celebrations for New Year's and Christmas. Number 7. Hottest place. Danakil Desert, located in the Afar region, is incredibly popular among tourists. Although it possesses a threat, this desert is one of the hottest and most lifeless in the world. That's a huge volcanic wasteland, in the territory of which the land is melted underfoot. The main feature of the dangerous desert is the almost complete absence of breathable oxygen in its territory. The air here is burnt and is filled with poisonous gases, so people can only be in certain areas of the desert for a very short time without risking their lives. Many researchers believe that even a short stay in the Danakil Desert can affect health. The reason for this is a high concentration of poisoning vapors of sulfur that is complemented with the most adverse effects. The air temperature in the desert rarely falls below 50 degrees Celsius. In addition, that's the volcanically active area, and that increases the risk. The Danakil Desert is quite large. Its area is about 100,000 square kilometers. Travelers are attracted to these places by unique Martian landscapes, which are formed by the salt deposits, as well as a lake full of sulfuric acid and oil. A possibility to admire this landscape for a few minutes is fraught with great danger. No matter how dangerous this place is, the unique alien look always attracts people to it. Number 6. Lucy. Lucy is the common name of Al 2881. Several hundred pieces of fossilized bone representing 40% of the skeleton of a female of the hominin species Australopithecus afarensis. In Ethiopia, the assembly is also known as Dinkinesh, which means "you are marvelous" in the Amharic language. Lucy was discovered in 1974 in Africa, at Hadar, A site in the Awash Valley of the Afar Triangle in Ethiopia, it was found by paleoanthropologist Donald Johanson of the Cleveland Museum of Natural History. Lucy acquired her name from the song Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds by the Beatles, which was played loudly and repeatedly in the expedition camp all evening after the excavation team's first day of work on the recovery site. Lucy became famous worldwide, and the story of her discovery and reconstruction was published in a book by Johanson. Beginning in 2007, the fossil assembly and associated artifacts were exhibited publicly in an extended 6-year tour of the United States. The exhibition was called Lucy's Legacy: The Hidden Treasures of Ethiopia. There was a discussion of the risks of damage to the unique fossils, and other museums preferred to display casts of the fossil assembly. The original fossils were returned to Ethiopia in 2013, and subsequent exhibitions have used casts. There are some theories that say Lucy died at 12 years old from falling off a tree. Number 5. Lalibela. Lalibela is a town in Last Amhara region, Ethiopia, famous for its rock-cut monolithic churches. The whole of Lalibela is a large antiquity of the medieval and post-medieval civilization of Ethiopia. Lalibela is one of Ethiopia's holiest cities that is above 900 years old, second only to Aksum, and a center of pilgrimage. Unlike Aksum, the population of Lalibela is almost completely Ethiopian Orthodox Christian. The amazing thing about this place is that the churches were built from a single rock, carved downwards into the ground. There is a tunnel that connects the 11 churches. If this is amazing, I would like to tell you that all of this was made by a single man. It took him 23 years to finish. King Lalibela got his name after a swarm of bees surrounded him at his birth. His mother took this as a sign from God and named him Lalibela, meaning the bees recognize his sovereignty. The first European to see these churches was the Portuguese explorer Pero de Covilhã. Portuguese priest Francisco Alvarez accompanied the Portuguese ambassador on his visit to Timbuktu in the 1520s. He describes the unique church structures as follows: "I weary of writing more about these buildings, because it seems to me that I shall not be believed if I write more. I swear by God, in whose power I am, that all I have written is the truth." Number 4. Africa's mountains. There is no denying that Ethiopia is one of the most highest countries in Africa. The capital city Addis Ababa is 2,355 meters above sea level, making it the highest capital city in Africa. The landmass of Ethiopia is 1,104,300 square kilometers, which makes it approximately as big as France and Spain combined. 71% of Africa's mountains are located in Ethiopia, including the Great Ras Dashen. Now, go to Google then search how many mountains are in Africa, then calculate how much 71% would be. Number 3. Erdeile. Erdeile is 613 meters high, with one or sometimes two active lava lakes at the summit which occasionally overflow on the south side of the volcano. It is notable for holding the longest existing lava lake, present since the early years of the 20th century, 1906 to be exact. Volcanoes with lava lakes are very rare, there are only 8 in the world. Erdeile means smoking mountain in the local Afar language, and its southernmost pit is known locally as the Gateway to Hell. In 2009, it was mapped by a team from the BBC using three-dimensional laser techniques, in order for the mapping team to maintain a distance and avoid the lake's searingly hot temperatures. Erdeile is centered over the East African Rift System, which is a triple junction setting whose movements are resulting in the formation of a pull-apart basin or rift. The volcano comprises mainly mafic material which has been brought up to the surface caused by unroofing of the mantle due to this rift formation. Citation needed. There was a major eruption on September 25, 2005 which killed 250 head of livestock and forced thousands of nearby residents to flee. There was further lava flow in August 2007, forcing the evacuation of hundreds and leaving 2 missing. An eruption on November 4, 2008 was reported by scientists at Addis Ababa University. Another eruption was reported in January 2017. Number 2. Battle of Adwa. It was Sunday, March 1, 1896, the climactic battle of the First Italo-Ethiopian War. The Ethiopian forces, who had high numerical superiority. In 1889, the Italians signed the Treaty of Wakale with then-King Menelik of Shewa. The treaty ceded territories previously part of Ethiopia, namely the provinces of Bogos, Hamasien, Akele Gozai, Suri, and parts of Tigray. In return, Italy promised Menelik continued rule, financial assistance and military supplies. A dispute later arose over the interpretation of the two versions of the document. The Italian-language version of the disputed Article 17 of the treaty stated that the Emperor of Ethiopia was obliged to conduct all foreign affairs through Italian authorities. This would in effect make Ethiopia a protectorate of the Kingdom of Italy. The Amharic version of the article, however, stated that the emperor could use the good offices of the Kingdom of Italy in his relations with foreign nations if he wished. However, the Italian diplomats claimed that the original Amharic text included the clause and that Menelik II knowingly signed a modified copy of the treaty. The Italian government decided on a military solution to force Ethiopia to abide by the Italian version of the treaty. As a result, Italy and Ethiopia came into confrontation, in what was later to be known as the First Italo-Ethiopian War. The Ethiopians tricked the Italians into thinking that they were primitive and had no strategic way of fighting a war. However, what awaited them was exactly the opposite of their assumptions. On the last day the Italians decided to divide and attack the Ethiopians, but the Ethiopians caught and attacked the divided force of Italy one by one. Researchers say that around 5,000 Ethiopian troops were killed and 8,000 were wounded in the battle. However, if you ask a local Ethiopian, he will most probably say around 70,000 troops gave their lives. The Battle of Adwa inspired other African countries, and on the formation of the Pan-African movement. Number 1. Blue lava. It's a volcano, but not the kind of volcano we're used to seeing. This is called a cerulean eruption, and the blue tint that surrounds the lava comes from flames produced when escaping sulfuric gases burn. The volcano contains large amounts of pure sulfur, which emits an icy violet color as it burns, filling the air with toxic fumes. The picture above was taken in a low-lying field in Ethiopia. So what we're seeing here is not actually blue lava, but normal, bright purple lava, surrounded by blue flames. However, this phenomenon is visible only in the night. So, are there any amazing things that we missed? If so, tell us in the comments below.